Hey, it's Anthea Cutler here, and I'm so excited that you're here with me today. You've obviously just watched my summit presentation on high vibe launches in the Heart-Centered Business Summit, and I just had so much fun. What a week. So this is my freebie that I have designed specifically for you guys, and it's what to do if your results don't match your expectations. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Maybe. A little bit about me. So I've got a husband, Jim, a daughter, Nola, and a dog, Lacey. I'm a mindset coach, clinical hypnotherapist, master NLP practitioner, emotional freedom technique practitioner, and I've got a double degree in business and art psychology. And I am totally obsessed with the power of the mind. I find it really difficult to watch, listen, read anything else. So you're in good hands here. So a little bit about today. I'm going to go over the 3 ingredients to a high vibe launch, which I went over in my summit presentation. Then I'm going to go on to what to do if your results don't match your expectations, a case study, and then obviously how you can work with me if you so wish. But this presentation, I really want to highlight, it's not a sales pitch. There's some juicy value stuff in here. And then those who are interested in working with me can do. Otherwise, I'll send you on your merry way and you'll be good to go. So the first thing was I just wanted to review the 3 ingredients to a high vibe launch that I ran through in my summit presentation. And they were vision, space, and priming. So the first one was vision, and it was really getting specific with what you want to happen in your launch. What was your financial goal? What is your financial goal? And do you have a financial goal that is specific to the launch and the launch period? So say your launch is running for 2 months, and then a monthly goal in addition to that. And how do you want to think, feel, and behave during your launch? I want you to sit down, get really specific, and then actually visualize it. Because when you visualize, it's like a bridge from where you are now and where you want to get to. And it gets your subconscious nice and comfortable with that new vision, and gets your subconscious on board with it's like you give it a target and a direction, instructions on how to get there. And then the next one was space, and it was really reviewing your to-do list through the lens of what can I scrap, because every single little thing that you scrap will bring you closer towards your launch goal, because you'll be able to take that energy that you were doing on that particular thing and bring it back to your launch. Or even if you're not spending that energy on the launch, you're doing things like really looking after yourself. So that could include the self-care activities, or just generally doing activities that light you up. And then the third ingredient that we went through was priming your day. So we talked about really trusting yourself on what you know already works to prime your day in terms of a mindset activity. So it could be EFT tapping, it could be doing a hypnosis, it could be meditating, it could be dancing, it could be going to the beach. Really priming your day and keeping it really simple. So 1 or 2 things, not 10. So they were the 3 ingredients to a high vibe launch. Now we're going to go into what to do if your launch results don't match your expectations. What to do if your launch results or your results don't match your expectations. And so this could be during the launch. You were expecting that you were going to get to a certain goal point in the launch and you haven't got there yet, or it could be after the launch. So we're going to run through mindset techniques, space, yes, it's come up again, and support. So the mindset techniques will really be the brain hacks, the tricks and tips to keep you on track. Creating space is really the key. I cannot emphasize it enough. The more I work with my clients, the more we create space for ourselves, scrap stuff off our to-do list and do stuff that lights us up, the better we stay on track. And then obviously support, which I'll go through as well. So we're going to run through some mindset techniques, and I'm going to whiz through them now, but feel free to obviously come back to these particular techniques in the recording. So the first thing I wanted to talk to you about was visualizing. And you can do this during your launch in the dead zone. So we already talked about this in the summit presentation, but I really just wanted to cover this again. And so it's when you're looking at your Facebook results or your PayPal results. It may be for Facebook ads, or it may just be for engagement on posts. And you're looking at whatever results that you've got during your launch, and you are basically, they're not looking good. They're not looking good. And so that particular picture is being fed into your brain, and then you're having an emotional reaction to that. So what you can actually do as a brain hack is visualize what you think is going on behind the scenes, or what you would like to be going on behind the scenes. And so what that might look like is you may like to visualize everybody getting ready to purchase. Everybody getting their credit cards out, everybody messaging each other and talking about your buying your thing, or how, you know, asking each other, what is it like to work with you? Visualizing everybody getting excited and everybody listening and watching your content. They just haven't engaged with you yet, but they're getting ready to purchase. So the more you can connect with that, the more you won't have that icky physical emotional reaction to the evidence, the physical evidence that is currently in front of you. And we know that this is true. Like, how many times has someone come to purchase your thing and you never knew they even existed? And then when you ask them, they're like, oh, I've been watching you for a year and I talked to this person, and this person. So we're just kind of fast tracking that and getting you to visualize that, and that will help you get you through that dead zone in the launch. Okay, so then we can look at, what are you making it mean? So say you get to the end of your launch and you're not very happy with your results. So say you were going for 10K in your launch and you've only hit 5K and your launch has ended. So we can look at, what are you making this mean? So you might have an emotional reaction which is full of disappointment. This is very common. And I might then ask you, what are you making this mean? And you're making it mean that I'm shit. I'm not good enough. I better quit my business. Nobody's ever going to buy from me. You know, all the really extreme meanings will often elicit this really big emotional reaction of disappointment. And so then we can say, what else could you make this mean? And then we could really look, and the key to this one is brainstorming a list of other potential meanings, but you don't necessarily need to believe them. Simply brainstorming a list of other potential meanings is enough and will pull you out of that big emotional reaction. And so what other meanings could we give this scenario? It could be, oh yeah, well that makes sense. I actually got sick for 2 weeks in the middle of it. Or what else could I make it mean? I could make it mean that I really could see during my launch all different things that I could improve on. This was only my first launch, and there was a whole bunch of things that I realized I hadn't nailed in terms of systems. I also didn't stick to my mindset practices. I've spoken to my strategist, and we really think that I didn't quite hit the mark on delivering what the person wanted based on my market research interviews. Yeah, a whole bunch of different meanings. So you can see how that very quickly changes you from I'm shit, I'm not good enough, eliciting that huge disappointment and feelings of not good enough, to much more practical meanings of kind of where we could go in the future. So the next technique I'm going to teach you is really one that you can do in the moment, which is releasing the emotion, whatever emotion that you're feeling. So we'll do it again with disappointment, and I just want you to go ahead and close your eyes if you're not driving. And I want you to close your eyes, and I just want you to think of the last time that you were disappointed. Simply going back to the last time that you were disappointed, taking yourself back there and stepping into that moment as though you're really there. Good. What do you rate that level of disappointment in your body? Yeah. Good. Where do you feel it in your body? And so now in your imagination, I want you to pretend and imagine that you're putting a big window or door over the top of that area that you feel that sensation in your body. Putting a big window or door over the top of your body. Just pretend that you can. I want you to give that sensation a color. If it were to be a color, what color would it be? And now I want you to go ahead and start letting out that color, out through that window or door, pretending and imagining that you can let that color out through the window or door, seeing it leave your body now, without any expectations or judgments, simply imagining it leaving your body now. Some people like to imagine this like helium balloons, others as though it's smoke or slime. You just do whatever works for you, simply imagining and pretending that you're letting out that color out through your window or door. Taking a nice big deep breath. What do you notice now? Good. And so the biggest feedback that I get from this exercise is that it really gives people a way to release whatever emotion is going on for you. And that gives us a beautiful sense of control in and belief in ourselves, and a belief that we can cope. Okay, so the next technique we're going to do is a negative thought transfer. So you know those times when you catch yourself and you're thinking really negatively, or you may experience it as mind chatter or intrusive thoughts, or really hating on yourself, or it might just be like a buzzing mind or a bit of worry. Whatever it is for you, it's all the same. It's a brain patterning issue. And essentially it's basically we've got in this habit of thinking in this particular way. And what happens is when we say to ourselves, don't think like that, think positively, we create this like fight, and then it's really hard, like it just becomes this fight in our brains, right? So what this technique does is it lets us jump off and create a new neural pathway in our brain where our brain goes, oh, I kind of don't need to do that anymore. And we realize that those thoughts are just thoughts, and we kind of connect back to our true self. So I just want you to go ahead and close your eyes and think back to a time when you were thinking really negatively, or you were worrying, or you had this busy mind going on. And I want you to connect with those thoughts. Simply get a sense of them. You won't be able to remember them exactly, just get a sense of those thoughts. And now I want you to point to where you think in your brain those thoughts are coming from. It'll feel like you're making it up, but just trust me. I want you to pretend and imagine that you know where those thoughts are coming from, and just point to where you think they're coming from. Good. Beautiful. And so now in your imagination, I want you to pretend and imagine that you can turn those thoughts down now. Turn them right down. Turn them all the way down. Good. What do you notice now? A little bit more peaceful, hey? Now in your imagination, I want you to pretend and imagine that you can move those thoughts to a different part of your brain. Simply pick them up. Pretend that you can pick them up and move them to a different part of your brain. Just pretend that you can. Good. And what do you notice now? Yeah. So the most feedback that I get on this particular one is that you kind of feel empty or nothing or what have you. So I just want you to practice that one, turning them down and moving them. This is definitely one that you need to spend some time practicing, say daily, and then it's really easy to use in the moment. But it's one of those things where, you know, when you try and use something new in the moment, when you're in your habitual brain pattern and it's like you don't really think of it. So if you practice it outside of those hectic times, you'll be able to use it in the moment. Cool. Then the fifth mindset techniques I'm going to talk with you about now is the post-launch review. So this is really important, in particular when we don't achieve the results that we want to in our launch. And it's really important both from a strategy perspective, but also from a mindset perspective. Because when we don't achieve the results that we wanted to, we just want to run. We don't want to do anything else. But the very cool thing is, if we review your launch, you're going to have a much better launch later. So what can you learn from this, both strategically and from a mindset perspective? What can you learn from this? What has this launch taught you? What would you do differently? Yeah. Cool. So the next one, so we had mindset techniques and then we have space. So when we don't have results that meet our expectations, this is the time we really want to ramp up giving ourselves space. Because what we want to do when we don't get the results that we really wanted is we want to work, there's this tendency to really want to work harder, go the grind. But actually we need to come back over here and create more space for ourselves. Because creating more space for ourselves will allow us to process what went on, but also to get inspiration on what we can change and how we're going to move forward. So this is really the time to ramp up your self-care, and self-care, that beautiful nurturing self-care. So doing any particular activities that really nurture you. And it could be anything from taking warm baths to doing hypnosis to doing EFT tapping, eating really good food, you know the things. And then we're really ramping them up to spending time doing things that light us up, because when we spend time doing things that light you up, that's when the inspiration will come again. And this is also the time to scrap even more off the to-do list, because that's when the inspiration will come. And as I said before, it's really the time to nurture yourself. And there's so much resistance to this throughout business, I think. And then the third one was support. So what support can you call in? Personal support from family and friends, even if it's like a chat and a glass of wine or a green smoothie. But really, like, it's part of the nourishing yourself and looking after yourself is connecting with the family and friends. And what business support can you bring in? So talking to business colleagues, brainstorming with strategists, and of course, mindset coaches. But here's the thing, what would be even better than all of this is a strong and resilient mindset before you even go into launch. Imagine having expanded the belief about what is possible for you, where you have actually smashed through your limiting beliefs, where you have acclimatized your subconscious to your big, hairy, audacious goals so that they don't elicit a stress response in the brain. Because if you're DIYing your mindset, you're going to have to keep your goals pretty small if you want to avoid that goal really stressing you out. But when you're working with a mindset coach, you can go bigger and bigger and bigger, because we're doing all sorts of things to calm and soothe the nervous system, whilst really getting your subconscious brain to experience your goal. So I just wanted to go through a case study. This is the beautiful Arit Krug. She started with me last year, and her business has just exploded. And I just want to read to you kind of one of the things that happened to her. And she wrote this back in May. So I really need to get her to do another one because it's totally changed. She's now hiring dance coaches to work with her. So she writes, "This amazing woman guides me deeply into my subconscious instantly so that I can crush my business money mindset blocks and fully trust myself in everything that I do. I especially had a really hard time in February when I felt like maybe I just couldn't do this business thing. This was, of course, right before my first $5,000 a month, $10,000 a month, and $15,000 a month. So she went from like $2K a month, and she had already worked with a strategist. And then once we did this intensive mindset work with her, she then hit 5K, 10K, 15K. It was like we opened the floodgates. And she adjusted her schedule to meet with me that week ASAP. The metaphor that we dove into in my subconscious was so powerful that day. I just wanted to give up in my subconscious exploration, and she helped me keep going so that I could find a way through. This helped me keep going on the path to my major business expansion, knowing I can really do it. That belief that I can do it was the most important thing that I didn't have that was holding me back. Seriously, if you don't believe in yourself, it's pretty hard to expect potential clients to believe and trust in you." Now she's helping me get comfortable and feel totally peaceful with making $25,000 a month and more. I feel the benefits from our session literally instantly, and it's pretty damn cool. If you don't have business mindset support, get on it ASAP. And so I think that belief that you can do it is the most important thing. And so I work with women. It's not that I work with women who don't believe in themselves. They totally believe in themselves, but it's like, say for instance, I had a lady come to me recently and she told me her goal and she kind of went, "Eee." And I was like, that's when the goal is eliciting a stress response in your brain. And so we can do all really cool things such as hypnosis and NLP and some other kind of mindset coaching tricks and tips to really get your subconscious comfortable with that goal. Because if you don't do that, you're going to self-sabotage yourself. So I've got a beautiful offer for you today. It's for my Launch Mindset Magic program. It's a 6-month one-on-one program with me where you get 12 one-on-one 1-hour sessions, including coaching, hypnotherapy, NLP, emotional freedom technique, metaphors, and archetypes. There's also unlimited messenger support, so people may use it to have a lifeline, so before a webinar or a summit presentation or what have you. But it also could just be like a way to quickly jot down what's been going on for you in between sessions. Sometimes I've been known to jump on a call with people or even do like a audio message back with just a bit of a pep talk. So we just kind of do whatever you need. And then I do customized hypnosis audios, and you end up with a whole bunch of them, and it's basically based on your vision growing and what you feel comfortable growing. Then we do a new hypnosis audio that you can be practicing daily. But I do want to kind of emphasize that it's not a program that you need to do heaps and heaps of homework. Sometimes I'll really kind of be like, you really need, like if you're really stuck or going downhill, I'll be like, you really need to do this every day. But I'm someone who's struggled with consistency. So we really work with whatever is going on for you. If it's, you can only do something for 5 minutes a day, then we do something for 5 minutes a day. And it's, you know, it's always the 80-20 rule, baby. So it's $2,500 per month for the whole package, or $468 per month for a period of 6 months. My prices are going up. I'm going on retreat with Tash next week. So I'm not sure when that's going to happen, but they are going to go back up soon. And I'm getting pretty heavily booked. So I'm not sure how many spots I have available. I definitely have 3 available, but there are limited spots available. So you need to get on it. So I haven't put it in here, but it's if you email me at info@antheacutler.com, if you're even the slightest bit interested, I would love to have a chat with you to see if it's a good time for you and if we're a good fit. I really do get you to trust yourself on this one. There's no big sales pitches from me. We can just have a discussion as to whether it is a good fit for you. So thank you so much for being here. I hope this has been of value to you. I would love to hear any feedback, so feel free to reach out to me, and big love from me.